During World War II, while the weapons of various countries might spark debate, there's no question that the coolest military uniforms belong to Germany. The German army's strict discipline, paired with soldiers decked out in their uniforms, could instill a powerful sense of intimidation just by their appearance. Why were German uniforms so exceptional? Why didn't other nations follow suit with similar designs? Let's explore the world of German military uniforms during World War II. Germany has a long history of prizing military strength, but its early uniforms weren't exactly fashion statements and didn't stand out much compared to those of other countries at the time. After all, uniforms were mainly meant to tell friend from foe and offer some protection. But by the time World War II came around, German uniforms suddenly turned into something incredibly cool and visually striking, unmatched by any other nation's designs in the history of warfare. A big part of this shift can be traced back to Hitler. With his background in art, he cared deeply about how uniforms looked. He believed the German army needed not just cutting-edge weapons, but also stylish uniforms to draw more young people into the ranks. Despite what some rumors suggest, Hitler didn't design the uniforms himself. Sure, he could paint, but he wasn't a fashion designer and lacked the expertise to craft uniforms that would captivate countless soldiers. Instead, he played a key role in approving them, keeping a tight grip on their quality. The German Wehrmacht uniforms in World War II built on World War I designs, but got a major overhaul thanks to the Bauhaus design school. Before this, German soldiers wore the M19 uniform, introduced in 1919. It carried over traditional Prussian touches like braiding, epaulettes, embroidery, and double collar patches, but it toned down the fancier decorations for simplicity and practicality. Still, it might have been a little short on pizzazz. Under Hitler's influence, the Bauhaus school rolled out designs like the M34 and M36. The M34 swapped out its collar for a dark green one and began featuring the imperial eagle emblem. The M36, an upgrade from the M34, was also known as the standard 1936 field uniform. It became the first combat uniform widely issued to the German army in the early stages of World War II and turned into the iconic look you see in photos and films. This design had a three-dimensional cut with subtle waist and shoulder tweaks, accentuating the wearer's status while projecting a steady, commanding presence that screamed masculine strength. Crafted from thick, high-quality fabric in rich, elegant colors, it gave off a refined vibe, especially when paired with eye-catching chest badges. What's even more impressive is how functional this uniform was. Take the M36 combat uniform, for example. Its shorter jacket and tailored fit were ideal for Germany's mechanized warfare. Soldiers spent hours moving around in tight vehicle spaces, and the short jacket kept them comfortable without collecting dust from seats. Plus, they could attach their equipment belts to a series of external hooks on the jacket, connected to two internal straps inside the shirt. This setup distributed the weight of their gear evenly, eliminating the need for external suspenders. Even as later models like the M40, M42, and M43 came along, the M36 remained in production and use right through the end of the war. Beyond the Wehrmacht, Germany had another force, the SS, whose uniforms stood apart. In 1932, artist Karl Diebitsch and graphic designer Walter Heck teamed up to create the SS iconic black uniform. Bright colors usually signal sunshine and cheer, while darker ones hint at mystery and solemnity, often with a dash of coldness. German uniforms leaned toward the latter, with deeper tones than other nations' gear. At first, SS uniforms were black, but by 1935, their impracticality for everyday wear led units like the Leibstandard SS Adolf Hitler to switch to field gray. Early in the war, SS uniforms resembled the Wehrmachts in color and style, but the differences lay in the details: badges, collar patches, and their placement. The Wehrmacht's badge sat above the right chest pocket, while the SS badge went on the upper left arm. SS collar patches often featured lightning bolts or skulls. These distinctions made it simple to tell them apart. For the sake of simplicity, many movies and TV shows depict SS uniforms as all black, but whether it was the Wehrmacht or the SS, both were sharp and still hold up today. The waist-cinching design, mix of large and small lapels, pocket arrangements, and finely crafted epaulets, all played up the masculine frame. Germany's high aesthetic standards and attention to detail shone through in the top-notch craftsmanship and sturdy materials. Well-balanced proportions and striking chest badges highlighted the wearer's rank and experience, underscoring the honor of being a soldier. Slipping into this uniform instantly radiated glory and nobility. Hitler understood the psychology of youth. This uniform didn't need much promotion, just hand one out to each recruit, and it was enough to pull in droves of young people to enlist. Statistics show a significant portion of German youth at the time joined up because of this cool uniform, making it a smart tool for the regime to secure their loyalty. On top of standard uniforms, officers with extra cash could opt for custom-tailored versions. Tailors would take their measurements and craft uniforms that fit like a glove. Summer uniforms used blended cotton, while winter ones mixed synthetic fibers and wool. These bespoke pieces weren't just better fitting, they looked sharper too. The military even published guidebooks for custom uniforms, helping officers find the right tailors and get exactly what they wanted. Famous fashion designer Hugo Ferdinand Boss, the founder of Hugo Boss, worked closely with the Third Reich. Beyond producing uniforms for the Wehrmacht and SS, they also took on custom jobs for officers and junkers. The nationwide obsession with uniforms was clear, and it's no surprise German designs stood out among all World War II uniforms. So, why didn't other countries follow Germany's lead? On their own, other nations' uniforms were solid, but next to Germany's, the difference was stark. Soviet uniforms, for instance, had a waist-cinching design too, but they weren't as sleek or tailored as Germany's. American uniforms prioritized practicality and comfort, with large lapels and a loose, open fit. Aside from essential insignia like cap badges, collar flowers, qualification badges, and the flag on the left arm, they skipped extra flair. That made them straightforward and functional, but not particularly cool. German uniforms, by contrast, got a boost from armbands, chest badges, and medals. Officers would choose one or two of their most meaningful or favorite medals to wear depending on the occasion, looking dignified and honorable. If uniforms were houses, American ones would be bare bones, while German ones would be fully furnished. Of course, the appeal of German uniforms wasn't just about the design. It was also tied to the wearers. Germans tended to be tall, and after Hitler took power, he pushed hard for education and national fitness programs to improve the population's quality, build stronger bodies, and prepare for war. Those efforts paid off, giving Germans of that era more appealing, robust physiques. Check out footage from the 1936 Berlin Olympics for evidence. With a solid build as a foundation, these specially designed uniforms made them look downright heroic. If soldiers from a country with an average height of 155 centimeters wore them, even the slickest uniforms wouldn't have the same impact. That wraps up this piece. Catch you next time.